This is the Akron News Now update. Yet again, in for the vacationing Lindsay McCoy, I'm Ryan Haidet. And for our normal viewers, you're probably realizing that I'm back in our regular studio. And I know for the last few days, Lindsay's been working hard to bring you the video news update from our latest facility, but I'm not exactly sure how to use all of that new equipment, so I'm bringing it back to the place where we got this vodcast all started. And we do have a lot of news going on today, so let's get this going. First of all, there was a fatal accident on Wednesday evening involving an 18-year-old Copley Township man who tried to enter 77 North from the Arlington Road ramp. Authorities say Kevin Vest had driven across the grassy area at the top of the on-ramp before he entered the northbound lanes of the highway that took him right into the path of an oncoming semi shortly before 8 o'clock.
When the boy in the car entered the interstate, he actually went under the trailer of the semi. Trailer ran over the car, and then the driver of the car was dead on the scene.
Sergeant Scott Cottle with the Summit County Sheriff's Department says the passenger of Vest's vehicle and the driver of the semi both sustained minor injuries. Now, they had the roadway closed for several hours as crews worked to clear the wreckage. That crash does remain under investigation. And in other big news that we had break this morning, the Wadsworth Education Association and the Board of Education both reached a tentative deal after days of negotiations. This stops the strike Wadsworth teachers were planning to begin next week. Full details of that deal have not yet been released. You can read much more on this story and hear some audio over at AkronNewsNow.com. And now to the story that seems to have captured the nation's attention, the case of suspected serial killer Anthony Sowell. Authorities say no additional bodies were found during their latest search, which took place Wednesday at the Imperial Avenue home in Cleveland. So far, the remains of 11 bodies have been found in and around the house where Sowell lived. Investigators did leave the scene with a bag filled with evidence. No clue as to what was inside those bags at this time. An Akron couple indicted earlier by a grand jury for allegedly sexually abusing children was back in court on Wednesday. Stephanie Murphy and Michael Windland appeared for a status hearing and arraignment on supplemental child porn counts to which each pled not guilty. A competency evaluation of Windland is pending at this time. He previously pled not guilty by reason of insanity to those accusations. The two are facing more than 4 dozen child porn charges combined. Upcoming court dates have not yet been set. In another court case, an Akron man who earlier admitted to burglarizing a home with a friend and beating the owner's pet now says he didn't do it. Our own Tina Kaufman has more on this story. Tina?
Prosecutors fought for the guilty pleas entered earlier by Louis Napoleon to remain valid.
His words, Your Honor, to this court, he didn't go in, but he did carry away the spoils of breaking into the Hicks and Vow's home. Your Honor, we're not dealing with an innocent person.
But a Summit County judge sided with the defense, granting the guilty pleas be tossed. Napoleon's attorney had one request, saying alleged accomplice Melvin Prince had made 2 confessions to local authorities.
I would ask, Your Honor, that we have time to explore those admissions or confessions.
That also granted. Napoleon faces a dozen charges for incidents spanning 3 months, and he's looking at up to 28 years if convicted by a jury. Napoleon allegedly broke into a Morse Street home and, when greeted by a Shih Tzu, kicked it repeatedly. The pup later had to be put to sleep. A trial date is pending. Tina Kaufman, Akron News Now.
Well, if you happen to have a news tip, you can send it our way via the email at the bottom of your monitor, news@rcrg.net, and you can also follow us on some social networking sites like Twitter or Facebook as well. And finally, check out our official website several times every day. It's updated a lot, AkronNewsNow.com, for the latest in breaking news. In for the vacationing Lindsay McCoy, I'm Ryan Haidet.